Hey guys, in this video we're going to create chest with loot, and it will work similar way to our loot bag, but you will be able to set the items directly on it and also change the static mesh to whatever you like. And first thing I want to do is fix this little issue that I have after last video, and that is because I haven't checked when we changed the tooltip, we haven't updated it in the equipment slot. So if you have the same issue, just right click, refresh this node, remove this part, and from here we can set item info. We'll set it from this one here, and we also need to set create stats, which will set the stats in the tooltip. Right, that's one small fix done. There is one more issue that at the moment if you drop some item it will stay in the air, and if you go to your drop item, all you have to do is remove this set simulate physics, because we have removed time dilation and that part when we turn them back on, so it doesn't work anymore. So remove it, compile and save, and that will fix the issue. And now for the chest, what I want to do is create completely new blueprint, because I don't want to have children of any of these, because most of the items already have some exposed variables that we can't really hide. And also I want to create completely different functionality. So let's right click, go to blueprints, create new blueprint class, and this will be actor. I'll name this chest underscore BP. And in here we need to add static mesh. At the moment we don't have any static mesh, so go to Quixel bridge, and in here just search for chest. There is a plenty of assets here that we can use. As you can see, I downloaded few of them, but for this tutorial I'm just going to use this one here and this smaller one. So add it to the project. This one I'll rename to medium chest underscore SM. And also while we have it open, just go to collision, auto convex collision, and apply and save. Now this folder I'm going to rename to medium chest and transfer it to meshes. Now let's also add the small one. So Quixel bridge, this one here, add it. This will be small chest underscore SM. Also do collision, so auto convex collision, apply and save. We can close this and then rename this folder to small chest and transfer it to meshes. Alright, now this static mesh we can change to medium chest as default. Compile and save, and we need to set up some functionality so we would be able to interact with it. So first, class settings. Let's implement interface, which is interact BPI. That will give us all these functions. And in the class defaults we need to search for tag, add tag, and this needs to be interactables. And it needs to be spelled the same way as you have in the player blueprint when we're searching for items to interact with. So this one here, you can just copy it just in case and paste it. Otherwise it wouldn't work. And now for the event graph, we can remove these two. I don't think we do need a player reference. Instead, what we can do is copy interact prompt from this one. So go to interactable items, copy this interact prompt, paste it here, make it child of the mesh, and just move it a little bit higher. Now in the event graph we're going to cast to it, so cast to interactable prompt. Here get widget, which will be this one, interact prompt, and as interact prompt we will set interact type to leave it at pickup. We don't have one for loot bag either, so we'll set it up at the end of the video. For now, I'm just going to leave it like this, and after we can add loot component, and from loot component we can generate loot, and this will promote a variable called chest inventory. Now a couple more things we can do. So in range, double click on it, and when we're in range we'll get this interact prompt and set visibility to visible, and out of range just copy it, paste it, and make it hidden. Compile and save. Now from the loot bag we can copy this interact event, so copy the whole thing and paste it into chest. This reference we will have to change because this reference can only accept the loot bag BP, so we will change that in a second. For inventory we'll connect the chest inventory, and rest of it is pretty much the same. So now for this loot bag reference, go to the widget loot container, and in here I'm going to change this to actor object reference, so it will be base actor, and we can accept the chest or a loot bag. And if you compile, it will give us some errors, so click on the first one. We need to change it here, so just remove this whole thing. Now if you were to get a loot bag reference, we can't really set inventory here because we don't know which actor we're trying to access, so it wouldn't find it. Instead, in our interact BPI, we're going to set up new function, so add the function, and this will be update inventory. It will take an input of item info s, make it an array, and this one is inventory. Compile and save, and now we can access it in the loot container. From this loot bag reference we can just call update inventory message, and because we have implemented the interface in both of the loot bag and the chest, we can just update it this way and connect the inventory. Alright, we need to copy this part, select this second compiler error, and now remove it from here and also paste it. Compile and save. That should be all of it for now. And go to your loot bag, right click on this and refresh. Here it will stay the same, and in interactable in the chest you can close the interactable items. In the chest, refresh it as well. Actually, let me call this something else. So in the loot container I'm going to call this one loot actor reference, because it's not just loot bag. Now just in case I'm going to refresh it here, do self, and in chest refresh and do self also. Alright, now technically if we were to test it out, so go to items, chest, let's go to loot components and max gold maybe 200, it's a medium chest, and then I'll quickly add one item to array, item info, and this will be wooden club. We go next to it, we can see the pickup. I open it, it opens the same widget. I can click on it and open it. Now one thing you can see that it actually destroys the chest once there are no items. We don't want to do that with the chest, only with the loot bag. So what we can do is go to loot container. Now here when we're destroying the actor, we'll do branch check. First remove this, remove from parent from here, and we'll add it this macro, so we don't have to always write it. Remove from parent. It will be self. Now go back and in here create branch, and we need to basically check if this load actor reference is chest, and you could actually type equals and then select chest here, but this way it just doesn't work and it always returns false. So instead there is a workaround. We will need to get class, and now we can compare. So equals chest pp. Unconnected here. So if this actor reference equals chest, we will just set input game. If it's not, that means it's a loot bug or something else. We also need to destroy it. And copy this whole part again and go down. There is also when we're taking all of the items. So this first part we need to remove and add it here. Nope. Add it here. Cool. Now if we compile and save, this won't destroy the chest, but one issue will happen, and that is if you pick up these items, it will keep reopening the chest after the last one, and that this one just always stays there. And that is because at the moment we have set up that when we pick the last item, then we destroy the widget, so we don't have a way to reopen it, so it doesn't matter about the last item. But if there is a chest, we also need to set the inventory, so we can just call this in here for the chest only, which will update the inventory, and also in this part. And there is one more thing that will prevent us from reopening the chest, and that is when it's empty. We don't want to interact with it, so go to event interact and do the inventory. So chest inventory length is greater than 0. Then we do branch and we can interact, otherwise we don't do anything. Now compile and save. And if you go to chest, you can load this. Oh, well, it still reopens it. What have I done wrong? We haven't called this update inventory yet. So double click on update inventory and set chest. This is why we are doing it in the interact BPI. And same thing in the loot bag. Update inventory, we need to set chest here. Alright, now compile and save. Then we open this, pick up the item, pick up second item, it disappears. We can't reopen it again. For the loot bag, it also destroys it. So it works fine. But now one thing we want to do with the chest, that is you want to have some progress bar that when you hold the button, it slowly opens the chest. And when it reaches 100%, it actually gives you the widget. And for that, we need to set up some different functionality, but we do have already radial progress bar that we have created for our paths. So go to materials, and then we do have this progress bar here, which actually I'm going to rename and give it underscore and M because it's material, and this one is MI instance. We're going to first create one more instance from this material. So create material instance, and this will be chest radial progress bar underscore MI for material instance. Open it up, and in here open this global scalar parameters, check both of them, 4% to 0, and thickness we can do 0.1, so it's not as thin. Save it. Now we're going to add it to interact prompt. So go to widgets, open interact prompt, and here we can just add image to canvas panel. What is the size of this border? It's 30 and 30 and offset, so this one will be 50. Let's position it to the middle. Control Shift and click. 50, 50, and position -20 as well. This one will be radial, chest radial progress bar, MI, and you can't see anything because it's at 0% at the moment. We're going to rename this to chest open progress bar and make it a variable. Compile and save. And now in the chest, where are we? In the chest, we need to change a few things here. First, we will need the reference to interact prompt. So drag this a little bit back, promote this to a variable. This will be interact prompt ref. And now we do have reference. We also need the function that will set that radial progress bar %. And we do have one already created for our buffs. So let's just go to, I think it's in condition icon, graph, and you have this radial bar %. So copy this function, go to chest, and let's paste it here. I probably did not copy it properly. I don't think I'm copying the name. Copy it, just paste it. There we go. Here we need to create this variable. Radial progress bar, we will remove it from here and we will get the interact reference, and from there we can get open progress bar and connect it to set brush. That is pretty much all we need here. Just move this down a bit. So this is a bit wonky. Oh, that's fine. All right, now we do have this function. Go back to event graph. So it's going to be easier to do if instead of interact here, we're going to create custom event. Add custom event, which will be open chest. And we will copy this whole thing apart from this interact. You could have done Control X because we don't need this here. So open chest, that can go on the bottom. Now, when we're interacting, we want to set up new variable, which will be is holding button. We'll set it here to true. So once we interact with the items, it will have a holding button. But before that, we also want to check this part. Actually, we didn't have to copy it here. My bad, sorry. Control X. And do it here and interact, because we need to check if the chest is not empty, otherwise we don't want to have a progress bar there. And if it's true, we set is holding bar, and then we're going to create one more event. So custom event, this will be opening chest, and we're going to call it here opening chest, not open chest but opening chest. Make sure you don't make a mistake here. And now on opening chest, we're going to set timer by event. We again have to move this down. And in here we need to create event as well, or just right click, add one more custom event. I know it's quite a lot, and this one is set per progress we'll connect it here. This event will be going 100 times per second, so 0.01. It will be looping, and we will start it. Then let's do a branch check in the beginning, and we're going to check if we are holding button still. Then true, we will start this event. If it's false, we need to promote this to a variable called timer handle. And if it's false, we're going to get this timer handle and clear and invalidate this timer. So we'll stop it if we stop holding the button. But we're going to have to call this opening chest again. For that, we need to know when we release the button. So on the interact BPI, we need to set up one more function, and that is on release. Compile and save, and we're going to add it to the player. So where is the interact here? When we're holding E, when we release, we can call release, but let's also copy this part because we want to check if there is some items. Otherwise, it can give us, it will try to get an empty item. So, sorry, not from here, from the release. Do it here. And then if it was released and if there is an item, we'll send a message which is from this part and on release. So that will send the message to that item we are interacting with. If it doesn't have on release like our items, it won't do anything. But on the chest, if we now double click on release, we can set it up to is holding button false. And we're also going to call this opening chest again, so it will fail and it will stop the timer. So opening chest, not open chest, it's opening chest. And that will fail. Then we need some kind of percentage of the bar. So let's set up one more variable. This will be radial bar percent. It will be float. Then here we need to do a branch check and see if we have already reached 1, which is 100%. So if it's greater than 1, then we will open chest. And not opening chest again, it's open chest. That will open the widget. And we also need to reset this timer. So we can actually just call on release, which will unhold the button and clear timer. So we'll call on release. Not this one. On release. Call function event. Where is it? Yeah, this one here. True. Alright, that will stop it. And if we stop it, we also need to reset this to 0 and call this function and reset that to 0, or this one here. Okay, now if it's not greater than 1, then we need to get this radial bar percent, add to it. We can add some low value, so 0.005 will take 2 seconds. Okay, because with this timer, which does it 100 times per second, this will be in 1 second, it will be half a second. So in 2 seconds, it will be full. And then we will set it. And after we set it, we just need to set the radial bar percent as well to this value. So it will update. All right. And now just to prevent few issues, we can do on out of range. We will also call on release, because for now we will be able to move around. So if we move the player, we want to release it. So release It's the function, call function on release. Out of range, in range is fine. Yeah, that should be it. Compile and save. Let's see if that works. So now if I go next to chest, I hold the button, it's got a progress bar, you can see it, but it's probably still too thin. So I'm going to change it, and then when it's full, I open the widget, but very quickly, and it closes instantly. And that is unfortunately at the moment our input is wrong, and that is because if you're holding E on a keyboard, it will pick up all the items one after the other automatically. Like even here, if I'm holding E, it just keeps doing it. And also if there was another bug very close by, it would open that one straight away. And that is an issue that I found out only a couple days back, that we have when in condition, in the loot container with this one input on key down, it basically keeps registering all of the inputs, and there is no way to do it only once. So we're going to change it slightly, but I'll save it for the next video because it's very long. For now, we just have this chest with the radial progress bar. Now you can stop, or you can run around, it will stop it again, or reset it, and then once you actually wait 2 seconds, it will pick it up. So in the next one, we'll fix the input so it doesn't straight away pick up all the items. There is one more thing I want to do, and that is the thickness of this progress bar. So I'm going to change it to 0.1. And also, I believe on a chest in this function, yeah, we have just copied it over. So in the set radial bar %, change this to chest radial progress bar. Otherwise, it will just be the same one we're using for buffs. Compile and save. And now also to change the mesh, we could have set it up here directly, but all you have to do is just select this one, select the static mesh, and here you would change it to small chest, for example. As easy as that. But then when you're duplicating them, always select the object. We can duplicate this with the items and everything inside, and change this static mesh to medium chest. And on this one, I would have in the loot component maximum gold maybe 250 because it's big chest. This one can only have like 100 gold. And also the items I would change to, you know, from epic to just something like leather. Non-clap, and then this one, I have leather and gold. Right, and you can change it to anything you like. You can even change it to the loot bug because it's a static mesh as well, and it won't get destroyed when you loot it. And that is it for this video. So in the next one, I'm going to fix that input so we don't loot it straight away for everything, and probably do a couple more fixes because I do have a long list. So see you in the next one. Bye.